So if we are spirit, and the nature of spirit is unity, that indicates that our nature is unity as well. And in order to fit into the world, find our right and proper place, experience life with all of its fulfillment, we have to recognize the oneness that exists with it all. Anytime we get to a point where we take somebody out of that picture, out of God, if that's what we want to call it, or out of the spiritual realm, if we take somebody out and say, I am not going to be united with that person, I don't like that person, I'm going to disconnect myself from that person, and continue to be mean or hateful or think bad things about that person isn't excommunicated from God's world. We step outside God's world with that thought. If we want to experience God, we have to experience all of God. If we want to experience all of God, we have to experience and accept all of existence. And that means accepting all of life. That means accepting the people and the different things that come into our lives. Now, the 14th chapter of Mark. Jesus is teaching the people, and the Pharisees come along. The Pharisees are the adversaries, they're the enemies. They try to trick Jesus and make a fool out of him. And they say, so Jesus, tell us, what's the greatest commandment of all? And they think by him answering that question, it'll indicate that all the other commandments aren't as important. And Jesus says God is one. Love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. God is one. And we are called forth from that to say we have to love it all. Love being, we have to be united with it all. We have to recognize the connectedness with it all. And once again, that doesn't mean liking. That doesn't mean approving of someone's inconsiderate actions or words. It's simply realizing they are a part of the whole. And when we do that, we find ourselves in harmony with our nature. And when we're in harmony with our inner nature, which is one of unity, we're in harmony with the outer nature of the entire universe, which is one of unity. It's accepting it all without necessarily being happy with it. And when I discovered this, it made sense to me, because there's people that I am not particularly pleased with their presence. There are people that I don't necessarily like being around. They don't do anything for me. As a matter of fact, they take something from me, whether it be my happiness, my sense of ease, or comfort. But I can certainly recognize that they're a part of it all, and that I have to recognize that I am one with them, even though I don't want to be with them. Now, in the 14th chapter, or 12th chapter of John, it reads, in God's house, there are many rooms. That can mean one of two things. That can mean that earthly existence is one of God's rooms. We can mean the heavenly dimension that we go to afterwards is one of God's rooms. Or it can mean that there's room for everybody in God's house. Everybody has a room. Everybody has a place. Now let's personalize that for a minute. And let's say, in my house, there are many rooms. In your house, there are many rooms. And in your house, which is your mind, which is your consciousness, which is your thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and perceptions, it's that realm of reality that you experience. In your house, there are many rooms, and that means that there's a room for everybody. No matter what they've done in the past, no matter what you think of them, there is a room for everybody in your house because it's a house of unity. That's the underlying principle of the house. It has to be in unity. So if there's somebody that you don't particularly like, or somebody that offends you, or somebody that you find they've done things that are unforgivable, there is room for them in your house. It might be in the basement. Put them downstairs. Just like those boxes that you stored away 15 years ago and haven't looked in since, put them downstairs and forget about them. is don't dwell on those things in your world that you resist or that you want to cast out from your existence. Just put them aside. If there's a situation or circumstance that happened in the past that still hurts you to some degree, pack it up and put it in the attic. There is room for it. It's part of your existence. But bring that which is good for you, that which supports you, that which gives you a sense of energy, that which gives you a sense of aliveness, bring that into your living room. And that's where you spend your time. That's your experience here on earth. It's with that which supports you and nourishes you and makes life joyful for you. And everything else simply is put aside. Now, there might come a time where you invite that person in the basement upstairs for a short period of time. And there might be a time when you don't. That's up to you. Sometimes wounds can heal. But the question that I have for you, can you forgive what you've always considered to be unforgivable? Now, the answer to that is you can. But if you think you can't, you won't. Can you forgive that which you've always considered to be unforgivable? Yes, you can. In our theme song today, John Lennon says, there's nothing you can do that you can't do. In other words, if you want to forgive somebody, you can. There's nothing you can do that you can't do. All you need is love. Once again, we take that love and we transform it into all you do is need to be feeling that there is a connectedness between you. You're both here on this earth in this time period. And if you either got unity or you don't got unity. You can't have it both ways. You either have unity with it all, connectedness with it all, or you don't. Is it possible for you to love that which you've always considered the unlovable? The answer is yes. We all have that ability within us. That's inherent within our spirit. That's inherent within our nature. We can forgive. We can forget. We can move forward. We can feel a connectedness with all things, which is love. There's nothing you can do that you can't do. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is be open and receptive to God's world, and you find that connectedness, that oneness with it all. If you don't do that, you deprive yourself of the greatest experience a human being can have, which is that feeling of wholeness, that feeling of oneness. If you don't embrace it all, you deprive yourself of the greatest experience that a human being can have. Now think about that. You want to miss that. You want to get to the end and say, God, there was so much more that I could have done, but I didn't because I held on to this grudge, or because I continued to hate this person, or because I continued to be angry and resentful towards somebody and cast them out of my life. Or do you want to get to the end and say, God, this was a fabulous experience. I emerged into a place where I truly felt oneness. And once I felt that, beauty abounded everywhere. So I'm now going to invite C. Perry to come forward. And he and the choir are going to perform for us John Lennon's All You Need Is Love.